there. Thank you. Welcome to another episode of Innovative Tac-Tips. And I'm with the lovely Marilyn Shuck. And I would love to ask you a bunch of questions. And it's Women's History Month, and I have so much since I've known you in I don't want to say past life, but I know you, so I know a little bit about your background. It's super interesting. So I'd love to let the listeners know, what do you do? Who is Marilyn?
Hi. Why Marilyn? Hi, Christine. First of all, I'm just honored to be here with you. You're one of my favorite women in tech, and so I just am really honored to be able to spend time with you today and talk about stuff that we do and things that people say, what do you do? So a little bit about me. My name is Marilyn Shuck. Right now I'm working for Gage Technologies. I'm their company evangelist. And how I came to be their company evangelist is a fun little story on its own, because most people know me. I was a telecom technologist for the last 30 years. I have been a telecom manager, a telecom engineer. I worked for incredible companies in the Seattle area. I worked for the Seattle Times. I worked for the University of Washington. So my whole career also was on the Avaya platform. I worked on Avaya for, that was my training. That was the technology that I used up until a year and a half ago. I decided that maybe I was ready to retire. And so I call it kind of retiring. So I retired, and then I did more work I know a lot of people may know me from IAUG, did a lot of volunteering with them too. Mm-hmm. So that's something we can talk about later. But I was involved as an Avaya customer, got involved with the IAUG. And then, like I said, a year and a half ago, I decided, well, maybe I'll retire. But then I was helping IAUG, and I was going to the chapter meetings, which are wonderful. And there was a lot of technology going on. And I'm like, oh God, I miss this. I really like doing technology. So I started to think about maybe I was going to come back and do something. And I approached some companies in the area for being, again, a telecom engineer. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, as we were talking about earlier, that somebody knocked on my door, which they didn't. They called me and they said, hey, we've been thinking about you. We've got this opportunity and we think that you'd be the right person for it. And I went, what? What are you talking about? So the two gentlemen that have Gage Technologies, and Gage Technologies has been around for about 20 years. They started out as a service company. They were doing all the service for the large like C1s and things like that. They would contract it in and do all the service. And then a few years ago, a couple gentlemen that I know, Chris McGreevy and Kevin Frazier, who had come from the partner side, worked with a lot of the big partners, kind of got disillusioned by how the industry was going, with big partners kind of not treating the customer like the way we did in 1999, So they got a little disillusioned, got together with these guys that owned Gage and became partners and have gone into the more sales sides of it. We are a diamond sales partner for Avaya, which is cool. And we do all kinds of stuff. So we're a great company, and our anyway, they approached me and with this opportunity, as I digress into what they do, but I took this opportunity, and it was the best thing that I've ever done. I wasn't ever on the partner side before. I've always been on the, engineer technical side. And so it's a whole new world. It's amazing to find out, how products get sold to us, that kind of thing. But the one thing that brought me to this company, and if you know me, this is perfect, is they're putting people above profits. We really, of course, we want to make money, but we want to know that Christine has a dog and that she went skiing and hiking. We want to know more about you than just you have this Avaya system and you want to upgrade it and we're going to sell it. Because maybe we don't even have something that we're not going to force a sale on you. Yeah. We're not going to force you. And that reminded me of the way I wanted to be treated when I was a customer.
Mm-hmm.
So I told these guys, you bet, I'm going to start telling everyone about how wonderful you are. And it's been exciting. Been here since July, so it's new. But yeah, so
Cool. See, I thought you were gonna say diamond in the rough because I was like, that makes sense. That's a good analogy too. Diamond partner, diamond in the rough, because it's special when partners. I actually was talking with the 8x8 global SVP of their channel. If I get that wrong, I'm sorry. But and she was saying it's like having good partnerships, like being easy to work with, listening, all of that stuff, right? I think that is, it isn't extinct per se, but I think sometimes a lot of partners, it's about the velocity, right? How many sales can we get in? How much can we hit our numbers? All that stuff. It's like, I think for me, it's nice and refreshing to hear you say, I want to know if she's got 2 Shiba Inus. I want to know if she actually has gone skiing in Utah. Haven't yet, will, and eventually. But just kind of those like things that help paint a picture of who the person is and what they're actually really interested in I guess doing with their life. So, or I guess day-to-day life too. But you have a lot of experiences and you have so much wealth of knowledge that I would love to know what's been your most memorable moment in your career.
I've had an amazing, just blessed career. I just have been so fortunate, like I said, to work for people that really cared about me,
Mhm.
and being in a man-dominated world, I was really fortunate to have a lot of men mentors and really good men along the way that were respectful and helpful and that kind of thing. So I've had a wonderful experience that way. The most memorable thing of my career is last year IAUG named their president's award after me. And I got to tell you, that was, you know, I went into IAUG because I knew it helped me as a customer and it helped other customers. And all I wanted to do there was volunteer and make sure that everybody knew how great they were and how they helped. I saw customers helping customers, and I just was really involved with their leadership, and I just really wanted to help the customer, and IAUG was a way of doing that. And for them to actually name the President's Award, which was given out every year to a volunteer who did above and beyond for IAUG. And so the president would always kind of look around and say, well, who do we want to recognize this year? Um, and when that happened, and they didn't tell me they were going to do that. So for that to happen,
Mhm.
Christina, to have that, it was a little mind blowing. It's like, I'm not
Yeah,
dead.
yeah, yeah,
After me, I'm not dead.
yeah, yeah,
I'm still here. But
yeah.
I got to say, that was the most memorable thing that I've had happen in my career. I mean, it just has to be. I mean, I've had really great, memorable moments in the technical world and done a lot of
Mhm.
stuff, but that was humbling and actually just wonderful. So yeah, that's it. That's the prize.
I love that. I guess I mean, you deserve that. You deserve a award named after you. I want to ask what, from just like experience and stuff, what has one thing your work or at work changed someone's life you didn't expect?
you know, um, I- I've had a few people, I don't know if you've had this. I've had a few people come up and tell me that I made a difference in their journey through their work,
Mhm.
IAUG, and I had no idea that I was doing that. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Yeah,
anything. It was just, I've always wanted to help people. I mean, it's
yeah.
just part, it's in my nature. And if I can help you learn something technically, if I can, direct you in a direction, if I see something in you,
Mhm.
if I see something in somebody and I think, God, they're going to make a good leader, or they're going to do this technically, there's been a couple technicians along the way that I've been like, that person needs to get moved up into the engineer seat. That these guys are good, and just to give them that extra push that happened to me along the way. And I think that's probably why. I mean, people were giving me these opportunities that I was like, whoa, are you kidding? Because they had saw something in me that I didn't see in me. So I think I can't name a certain, this is what I did for this person, but I've had a couple people come up and tell me that. So
that's really cool. I've when I started my career at Avaya, one feedback I got from the hiring stakeholders was that they could learn something from me. And I was like, what? Okay. Like, cool. Like, to me, I'm like, all right, well, I'm junior of this person, but I was like, that's great. Like, anyways, it like throws you off a second. You're like, oh, yeah. So anyways,
well, that goes into like, you and I both mentor people, and I was talking about, and I've mentored someone that's going to be on your podcast, Angel from LSU. And I, went in as the senior and she's the junior. And I had to tell people, man, this gal has taught me so much. It's not, when someone said to you that you thought was higher or knew more than you, that, I've said that to Angel so many times. It's like, you are, that's amazing that you have that wisdom and stuff. So, and I learned from her. So, I think that's a really, especially, now that we're in Women in International Women's Month, I think helping women too is just such especially mentoring, man, it is so important.
And just empowering. I think it goes a long way to just elevate someone in the market, whether it's on the digital channels like social media, or if it's through like channels through communication in internal, right? I think it goes a long way. The more that you can make other people successful, the more success I believe that person will gain. And I think Angel speaks like volumes of like, just, I think it's in her blood. So I'm excited. She's excited for people to listen to her because she has a lot of wisdom.
She does.
I believe that failure is kind of a scary word to say, but also at the same time, I think failure is giving up. What is your favorite failure or parent failure that you've had that has set you up later for success?
That's a tough question. I've had some personal failures. Technically, when I talk about my work failures, they are failures that were technical. Okay. So let's say I was doing something, changing something, updating something, doing something. And part of what I liked about, and I'm going to say this myself, is I was never afraid to just get in there and do it, and in the technical world, you got to be careful. And I was careful, but if I did make a mistake and, we had to like roll things back and do stuff like that, I think we have to be able to say, oh, it was me. You know what I mean? It was me.
Take responsibility. Take responsibility
for it. Take responsibility. Don't feel like you have to go run and hide in the sand. Don't think that your boss might be really mad at you, but they're going to be worse on you if you hide it and say it's the other guy or it's this or that. So I think not only did I learn things technically, but I learned how to do that too and not be afraid. I mean, I just had to tell people, I'm sorry, and it was scary. It was scary to say that, I did press that wrong button, and no one can make a phone call for 2 minutes. I'm sorry. We're going to fix it, and it's going to be fine. And that's the whole thing, is just to get comfortable with knowing that it's not the end of the world. you're not going to, and even in interviews or something, if you're, you said something wrong, oh, well, and I'm the poster child of just like, hey, let me talk to you about something. And, maybe it's not a political way of talking, but it's me,
Yeah.
I'm being
Yeah.
authentic, I'm being me. And as far as failure, it's the way we grow. I just don't even want people to, failure's good. It's not a bad thing. It's not.
It's not a bad thing. It's not, again, I think with this podcast, I want people to know that, like, leaders are human, and the
Yeah.
more that you can understand that they're, one, relatable, and two, like, what they have done, you can learn from and gain that wisdom, because gaining wisdom takes years, right? Like, you can read a book, but then really, like, fixing an outage, you can read a manual about it, right? But, like, actually fixing it is a completely different situation. And so, yeah, no, I think failing, I always say in, like, school, I'm like, failing with flying colors. Like, I don't really want to not do well, but at least, like, understand, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in. So I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
And I think people,
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to learn, because we're all,
Mhm.
I'd like to tell I've got 2 grandkids, so I try to tell them it's okay, learn, it's okay. Because I think even at that age, they're in middle school. And so I think that's the hardest, you just can't even
Oh,
fathom,
middle
because
school
someone's
and
going to
high
be so mad
school.
at you. So as we get
Yeah.
older, we still think that same thing. And yeah, you might feel crappy for a little bit, but you're going to feel better that you owned up to it and fixed it. And then you learned and you
Yeah.
learn. I think that's the thing. You learn something. So that's what we're
So,
all here for. We're all
yeah.
here to learn and grow, and, you know, and yes, be afraid too, being afraid is
Yeah.
okay.
Well, yeah. Listen to yourself, being like, okay, why am I afraid? Yeah. It's just understanding, like, being self aware of, like, okay, I'm scared of this. Why am I scared of this? Anyways, all of that stuff, right? Like, going through that kind of questioning in your head of, I mean, touching a hot stove. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely, probably not something that you want to touch, right? But, like, submitting a college essay to a college that you really, really, really want to go to, do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it, anyways.
It's
So,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, totally. So, if you could have a billboard that reaches billions of people, what, you could put a quote, you could put a paragraph, you could put a word, you could put your name. I don't know. What would you put on it? What would you put on?
Hi, Marilyn. No.
Yeah, right. Yeah, your name. I don't know.
Contact me.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's such a great question. And it's so, oh man. Over the years, there's a couple things. One is one of my favorites, which is, if somebody asks you to do something that you don't think you're qualified for or prepared to do,
Mhm.
don't be afraid. I mean, I'm kind of paraphrasing this. I think it
Mhm.
was, I can't remember the person that said it, but it wasn't me
Mhm.
personally, but I'm paraphrasing it.
Mhm.
Um, don't be afraid to say yes and do it anyway. Even if you're afraid,
Mhm.
that would probably be on the billboard, but to do a little bit further is, don't be
Mhm.
afraid because they saw something in you that you may have not seen, and you have to be confident enough that you can do this.
Mhm.
You can do it. It's not, so that would be my big billboard. And for
Mhm.
women, I would really want them to take that to heart, because I have had so many friends that wouldn't take the leap to the job, to the opportunity, because they couldn't, we talk about this in Women in Tech, they couldn't tick all the boxes of what was
Wow.
needed when
Yeah.
they were smart enough to. I always, a few years ago, a friend of mine said, I don't know that Excel program. And I'm like, I don't care. You can do this job and you'll learn that Excel program because you've got everything else. Okay. So go in there and get the job that you want because you really want this job, and don't worry about the Excel program. So
Mhm.
I think as women that we do that and men don't. So that's my billboard for the International Women in Tech month. Do something, take the leap, don't be afraid if somebody approaches you with a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. No,
Don't be afraid.
yes, 100% yes. I think for
Yeah.
me, women need to fuel their moxie a bit, like maybe turn it up a notch, right? It's like the more that you can go for things that maybe you're not fully like also it's an internal thing too, right? Like
Yeah.
what if you are fully capable of it, which you probably are, but it's almost like that imposter syndrome. It's like, no, you can do it. Trust me. There's a lot of people that punch above their weight and you can do it. You can definitely do it. So
Yep.
yeah, no,
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
What I guess what are you and Gage Technologies cooking up behind the scenes, and where can people find out more about you?
Gage and I are cooking up just this wonderful program. Our theme is like momentum. We're out there trying to introduce ourselves to people because some people don't know who we are. And we are, a great business partner out there. We can do all kinds of things. And again, like I said in the beginning, part of it is we're just trying to introduce ourselves to people and say, we're a breath of fresh air. We're like the way your business partner used to be in 1999, which is kind of funny but cute. But so
Yeah.
we're working in the background of letting people get to know us and to know how wonderful we are and how we care about them and we care about their technical journey. I mean, we care about their security, we care about their telephone lines, we care about their infrastructure. We really care. And my company says, like I said earlier, we put people over profits right now. We're just really, that's the core of us. That's our intention. And we just want to, meet people. We're going to be at Engage this year. We've never had like a booth, and we're going to be at Engage, and we get to show people who we are. And yeah, we're just
That's
great. And
exciting. That's
it
very
is
exciting.
exciting. It's really exciting. It's
Yeah.
really exciting for me to go. The joke around IAUG is I was a customer. I actually last year I was I was an employee of IAUG, and I was helping it with behind the scenes of Engage, which was fabulous and wonderful working with headquarters. And now they're saying, oh, now you're coming in as a business partner. So I've done everything, so it's exciting to be engaged with all my friends and people that I know that, and to come in as this different, role. So, and you can reach me at, on all my socials. I've got LinkedIn and Instagram. I am on Twitter, but I don't use Facebook for business. So, and then my, it's Marilyn.Shuck at Gage Technologies. So,
Cool.
and then people, you can find me at chapters, IAG chapters all over the world.
Yeah.
Because I'm still involved I'm still an advocate for chapters. I'm helping out IAG chapters. We got Colorado coming up pretty soon that we want to make. We're revamping, relaunching, I should say, not revamping, relaunching it. We want to have a chapter meeting because we're going to engage. Avaya Engage is going to be in Denver this year, so we're doing that. And of
And
course,
when is that? Is that spring or when? I guess it is spring.
It's May 12th.
Okay, May 12th. Okay.
Yeah, May 12th through the 15th or 17th. It's kind of Monday to Wednesday this year, but
Okay.
there is some stuff going on Sunday. But Sunday's Mother's Day, so we want to be respectful of all the mothers out there. So we really aren't starting until Monday, so that'll be fun.
Well, cool. Well, thank you so much for your time and
thank you. All the best, and I'm so excited about all the people that you're interviewing and spotlighting for us, and you are a great advocate for women in tech. We need lots of people like you. Again, younger people. I'm really excited. I've been meeting a lot of young women across the country that are in the channels, that are in the technical part. That it gives me hope. I'm really happy to see that. So
yeah, Liz came from the beauty industry and went into tech, and like It's not tech is not scary. It's a lot of acronyms, but it's not scary.
Nope,
It's not.
it's
So,
not.
all right.
The first woman that I got a job from, that was when I first started my technical career in telecom, sat across the table from me and said, "This isn't rocket science." And back then in 1990, it seemed like rocket science to me, but it wasn't.